It's a wild world out there, but some worlds are even wilder. Hi, I'm Tyler Habney, and you're listening to Dungeons and Dystopias. Thank you for listening. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Dystopias. I am your game master and host, Tyler Habney. I have run over 200 games of Dungeons and Dragons and Cyberpunk RED combined, so I've made this show to kind of talk a little bit about my thoughts when it comes to both systems. So, without further ado, let's get into today's episode, which will be about Cyberpunk RED. More particularly, it's going to be talking about the most recent DLC that released for April for Cyberpunk RED. For those who don't know, Artel Sorian releases monthly DLC for free online for Cyberpunk RED. And a lot of this DLC has introduced mechanics that have, in fact, introduced a lot of different changes into my own games. So each DLC it feels almost important to read through because there are some game balance changing decisions that are made within the sheets of these DLCs. So the April DLC came really early. I think it might have even dropped April Fool's or the day after, or maybe even the day before. But what is important is that this DLC is sort of like the 12 Days of Redmas, but it's something different. And I do want to take a moment here to talk about what exactly this holiday is. Cutiemas, the 12 Days of Cutiemas. I'm not quite sure when that is. This is sort of a new thing. I haven't heard of Cutiemas before, but what I have heard of is Hilaria, which I do believe should likely happen more naturally in the early April time span. So it doesn't make a ton of sense that we're getting this, which I think could probably do better in like February near Valentine's Day. Now, when we could definitely get this as Bozo related stuff rather than what we did get. But anyways, that's just me griping and complaining. Let's talk actually about what the content of this DLC is. So this is the 12 Days of Cutiemas. It is a Sanru flavored DLC, which I think I've talked about Sanru here before. I'm not quite sure. Sanru is the Sanrio of guns. They're like Hello Kitty, only we've got the Hello Cutie. You get the idea. They're pink, they're girly, they're very kawaii, that type of stuff. That's sort of the whole idea of the brand. They're Japanese in origin. And genuinely, a lot of the guns we've seen from Sanru up to this DLC have been genuinely pretty high quality firearms. So that is to say, they don't produce crap. They're actually making some pretty good stuff out there. But, well, I guess we can kind of get into the DLC here. So the DLC starts with an original story that takes place around the piranhas. So I know I've mentioned the piranhas here before, but just quick recap. Piranhas are a party gang that exist within Night City. They love to sell drugs, make drugs, party, mug people, all sorts of things just for the life of the party. Their boss is a girl named Corpse Survivor. And her sort of, I don't know if it's second in command, but I guess lead enforcer is a guy called Bazooka Joe. And Bazooka Joe is he's a full board conversion as of one of the Interface Red Volume 3 when we got the full board conversion DLC. See what I mean? Things change with these DLCs. So Bazooka Joe's at FBC now. Corpse Survivor's hanging out. And we get another new face, Reveler. I don't remember seeing her in Danger Gal Dossier, though I might have to reread through it. She's also Piranha, and she's the one that kind of presents to Corpse Survivor in this story mysterious package that Corpse Reviver has received. And as it turns out, that package is a gift from Santa, or Santa. As you might remember, if you listened to our Christmas episode, this is the person who does leave gear for us for Redmas, or Gearmas, or whatever we want to call it. But this guy leaves stuff for us every year. And now it looks like, well, we have another point in the year in which we'll be getting free stuff from Santa. And that is evidently in April for some reason. Hooray. So, I would encourage you to read through 12 Days of Cutiemas on your own, because a lot of this stuff is really good. But, well, let's kind of get into some of the gear. I don't think we're going to have time to go through every single piece of gear, because believe me, there's quite a bit. But we are going to be able to get to quite a few of the interesting ones. And the first one is the Captain Cuttlefish Ultra Snag'em. Yeah, by the way, all of these names are going to be like this. The Captain Cuttlefish Ultra Snag'em is, well, it's like, whew, boy. It's hard to explain what the hell this thing is. It's it's a Captain Cuttlefish figure, whatever that looks like. But when you squeeze the figure, he'll shoot a sticky steel chain, which gets tags bad guys and can get rid of their weapons. It can take their held items. So it's kind of like a grappling hook, sort of. The way this works is it's a one-handed light melee weapon, so it deals 1d6 damage. However, when the weapon you can attack from up to 10 meters away, which is 30 feet. And when you use it to make a aim shot against someone's held item, instead of having a -8 to your aim shot, you have a -6. It doesn't need to deal damage to be effective. And if you succeed, the held item is now in your hands. So you pull this thing out in the middle of combat with some, I don't know, super serious, intense corporation, and, just grab whatever gun using the Captain Cuttlefish Ultra Snag'em. Yeah, that's real. That's can't wait to see that one. The Hello Cutie Chromatic Rave Grenade. Yeah, this is a rave grenade. It's a rave grenade. It cannot be loaded into a grenade launcher, which is a shame if you ask me. When thrown, it sticks to a surface, so it's a sticky bomb. It initiates a thumping bass beat and colorful light show. Anyone who starts their turn within a 10 meters yard by 10 meters, 5 by 5 squares area centered on the grenade during the show, must succeed on a concentration check, or your character gets distracted by all the cool lights and beats, and the maybe they want to dance a bit. You never know. This light and sound show lasts for 2 rounds. At the top of the 3rd round, the grenade explodes, acting like a smoke grenade, but with much more glitter. So, really just a great way to distract people with some good tunes. If you put a memory chip in it, you can play whatever song you want. The Hello Cutie Fisher Kitty. This is an exotic heavy pistol with 4-shot capacity. It is instead fired with the archery skill. So this is like it's a harpoon, like a mini harpoon gun. Cannot hit a target more than 50 meters away. So it's somewhat close range. It fires tungsten cable-linked mini harpoons that deal 2d6, but unfortunately can't cause critical injuries. On a success, the harpoon sticks to the target, and removing a harpoon requires an action. Moving more than 50 meters away from the weapon will also automatically yank any stuck mini harpoons free. So, what do these mini harpoons do? Well, as an action, you can electrify the weapon, sending a jolt to any target stuck with 2 mini harpoons. The jolt immediately deals 2d6 damage directly to the target's HP, or 3d6 if they've been stuck with 3 or more mini harpoons, which is fantastic. Because if you hit these, basically what that means is you hit someone twice with this item, you zap them, and then that deals 2d6 damage straight to their HP. And it doesn't look like they can even dodge that. So that's amazing. That's really, really good. Genuinely will probably be using that on some of my my players. Hello, cutie, gun, friend. So, what do you do when you're all alone and you need a friend? A gun, friend, some might even say. Well, you buy this assault rifle. As an action, you can install a one-handed ranged weapon, so like a pistol or something, so that it can be successfully concealed without a check within the frame of the assault rifle. So think about it. Not only do you have one gun that's your friend, you now have a second gun that is the friend to your friend. Your friend. The installed weapon can be drawn or stowed without an action, so you just pop that up while you're in the middle of a fight. While the installed weapon is popped up, pulling the trigger of the assault rifle fires the installed weapon instead, which is really cool. Like, imagine loading up, something really, really, another exotic weapon, Militech Perseus or something. You could really make that assault rifle a very powerful weapon indeed. Attachments on one weapon do not affect the other, and each must be reloaded separately. The next one is literally just a giant hammer. It is the Hello Cutie Hyper Hammer. It is a two-handed, very heavy melee weapon that does not have SP. If wielded by a user with body 9 or higher, the weapon deals an additional 1d6 damage. So if you have a grafted muscle and bone lace, you deal 5d6 damage instead of 4d6. And whenever you cause a critical injury, the user rolls twice on the critical injury table and then chooses their favorite option for the victim to suffer, which is great. I think that's the first weapon we've gotten of that kind of caliber before. If wielded by a user with body 8 or lower, however, the weapon insults the user after each attack, issuing mocking put-downs in a nasally high-pitched voice from a hidden speaker. So really, if you're using that weapon, probably want to have a grafted muscle and bone lace at the very, very least, is what I would say. So let's kind of move on a bit. That's sort of the openers there. Some pretty good choices, but I want to talk about some of the more expensive items here. So we have Hello Cutie, My Friend the Ocelot. This is 1,500 eddies, comes with one slot for modifications. But this is a fun, interactive digital pet in the form of a powerful home defense solution. AKA, it is a fuzzy ocelot patterned shotgun. So, it also purrs. It is an excellent quality shotgun with a 12-shot capacity, capable of firing only shotgun slug ammunition. It has an auto fire of 4, which is pretty awesome, and uses the SMG auto fire DV table. When it does auto fire, when firing this weapon in auto fire mode, you shoot 4 slugs are expended instead of 10, so that gives you 3 options to auto fire with this thing. So it can only be reloaded by somebody who has a biometric key to the weapon. So reloading it requires you to pet the weapon as an action. So that seems to me like you have to use 2 actions to reload it, which is, I guess, kind of worth it, honestly, just for the fact that you're petting your gun in order to get it ready. And then we're going to talk about this last item here that I really, really enjoy, the Husafel Hydraulic Underjack. It does not seem like this itself is a Sanru item, so that's kind of interesting. It's a Husafel. This item is extremely good. When worn, this hydraulic support-laced undershirt increases a user's body by 2. Cannot raise your body above 10. So this is hydraulic muscle and bone lace for people who don't want to get that cyberware. I think it's just as expensive. This does not raise your HP or death save, unlike grafted muscle and bone lace. It does not stack, such as grafted muscle and bone lace linear frame. So maximum of 10 body. But let's say you're someone who has 7 body or something, and you really want to use that Hello Kitty giant hammer. the Hello Kitty Hyper Hammer. Well, guess what? Get one of these things and you can use that Hyper Hammer just fine, and it won't make fun of you the whole time. Isn't that fun? Isn't that nice? Yeah, generally will make your attacks more powerful. Like if you're at 6 body, you get one of these, your brawling attacks will go up at d6 in damage. Pretty awesome. But yeah, a lot of other really good items in this DLC I wish I could get to, but unfortunately, you're just going to have to get it yourself and check it out and maybe play through it a little bit. But we're going to get now into today's metaphorical monster of the week. And you know what? I think it's about time. Let's talk about Militech. Militech is an American company, primarily that specializes mostly in military hardware and security, I'd say, is another big portion of Militech. They're one of the biggest corporations in the Cyberpunk universe. Anyone who's played 2077 will know about Militech. They do show up in Edge Runners. They pretty much show up in just about any Cyberpunk material out there. So they're pretty, well known. They've got a reputation. They are exactly what they stand for. They're military technology. They're weapons manufacturers. They're like so many different types of companies out there nowadays, but if they were on a much larger scale and could operate an entire government, which is effectively what has made Militech an interesting figure in the Cyberpunk universe, is the fact that after everything kind of collapsed, really, you got to look at it. Militech took over America completely. All the presidents are typically running as ex-Militech CEOs or people who are connected to Militech. And a lot of interests worldwide on behalf of the American military. I mean, a lot of the American military itself is privatized to be Militech. They're just a corporation that basically managed to supersede the United States government in terms of power. And when the Fourth Corporate War happened, the United States government absorbed Militech, and Militech was bigger. When you really think about it, Militech was bigger, made more money, so it kind of makes sense that after this merger is really Militech that kind of comes out on top. But yeah, Militech, what has Militech done? All sorts of things. If you can think of a bad thing a Cyberpunk corporation could potentially do, chances are Militech has probably done it or covered up for it. They are the ones who, during the Fourth Corporate War, put an end to the conflict by hiring Morgan Blackhand, Johnny Silverhand, Rogue Mendiaries, Shay Tan, a whole bunch of other people to storm Arasaka Tower and drop a suitcase-size mini nuke into the tower and basically set that whole thing off. Yeah, no, the whole apocalypse going on in Cyberpunk Red is technically all because of Militech. And of course, afterwards, Elizabeth Kress, the now current president of the United States and of course ex-CEO Militech, immediately put the blame on Arasaka, saying that actually the mini nuke was a self-defense technology that was meant to protect Soul Killer, which is a whole other can of beans that we don't want to get into. But all you really need to know is Soul Killer is real. It's out there on the streets of Night City. We've known about it. It's just something you gotta deal with. But yeah, Militech. Wow. They have so many different private facilities within Night City. You play Phantom Liberty, and you'll see at least 4 or 5 of them, it feels like. And really, just end of the day, when it comes to the big bad guy of Cyberpunk, there's a very, very, very good argument you can make that Arasaka might be the super big bad guys of like Cyberpunk 2013, 2020. But when it comes to Cyberpunk Red, I really think the bad guy award should probably go to Militech, considering they're really Arasaka's around. All right. Arasaka never left Night City, but Militech is very present in Night City. They have an entire district basically in the NorCal military base to the north of the city. They have a lot of pool in Night City right now, way more than Arasaka does. So that's kind of the position I've brought at it, is that Militech is not anywhere close to being better than Arasaka. In fact, in many ways, they're about the same. So that'll be it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening to me rant about Militech. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about Dungeons & Dragons. But as for now, my name is Tyler Hapney, and this has been Dungeons & Dystopias. Thank you so much for listening.